Okay, I'm going to try to pick up here that last tape video was Mary Welcome. I had gotten her on the phone. This is after the antifreeze and he was put on trial. Wayne was, and I had been trying to tell this when I was still in Atlanta, trying to get the book published, and because the murders were happening then. And these murders, by the way, that I've told about that have deliberately been done, continued to be done in patterns, that's the only way you can prove mind control, I suppose. Uh, Psychiatrists should certainly know the difference in mind control and mental illness, yet that's the way this is being portrayed. Um, they're not addressing mind control. In fact, if you even say mind control to psychiatrists or psychologists or doctors, they'll shy away from it because, quite frankly, they're afraid of it, and the medical profession is so tied up in the whole mess. Um, so anyway, without losing it here, Mary Welcome was going to send someone over, an attorney, to get a deposition. Well, I won't go in. That's another long story of breaking the law and terrorism, what happened to me. So that never happened. Um, I'm, I will quote here that on ABC, well, I don't know if it's called Good Morning America. I think it was back then. I think Joan London, well, I know they were, and David Hartman were still emceeing the program. Uh, so the mayor was Maynard Jackson, Atlanta mayor, and with the police commissioner, oh, don't let me forget his name, Lee Brown. He had been brought in. They were on ABC, and they said that Wayne Williams didn't commit the crimes, that it was the mechanism used. Well, mind control is a mechanism used, but they didn't say that. But someone should be able to go back and dig that up. I've been telling about it, and then I almost got killed again from Mary Welcome right after I talked to her on the phone. So, well, I sure did almost get killed. That's when a reporter friend of mine really saved my life there again. Uh, but what do I say? I'll say this and then try to get to the point for these two. I have to give so much background on it to make it understandable, I hope. Um, so where am I going to jump to now? Because it's just too hard to go back and forth. I don't have it written down. I'm going through hell where I live, and that's all part of this whole hideous game they're playing. I'll just say this. When you start talking about mental health, the people that's programmed, I was talking about the patterns, and I'm going to jump from Wayne Williams and a whole bunch that were done back to 70 at least that I was telling about. The Scarsdale diet lady, Jean, can't remember, Harris, that shot the Scarsdale diet doctor. That was a mind control murder. And she went to prison and spent time. She was the school, they called her the school mom. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of them. They killed some stars, like Steve McQueen was killed, Elvis Presley, and yes, they did. But it's the people, let me say this again, it's the people who let it happen. They did not want to hear me at all. In fact, I've been told, don't kill the messenger, and then turn around and tell me to get the hell out, because I guess somehow they thought it would stop, and that's not true. It's continued over the years. Duke Wayne was one of them, John Wayne. So there's a list of them, and then later after I came up here, there was the Columbine. I'm in Roanoke since '86. My jobs were gotten to, put on the side of the road, lived on the Appalachian Trail, froze, didn't have money for tent or sleeping bags, and when I did, they were soaked with chemicals. I'm allergic to chemicals. I have an immune disorder that if I get around just like somebody has an allergy to peanuts or like that. So I react to chemicals, and only it's my immune system it shuts down. And it really, if you're force-fed chemicals over the years, made to inhale them because they're deliberately put in where you live using the air conditioning and vents. And then you can't tell a maintenance, I can't go to the law, I can't get an attorney, that's blocked. They say there's a gag order on it. So they've used this gag order to really kill me because my whole body from inhaling the chemicals, and they're heavy duty, they could kill anybody. But over the years, the medicine I take for it, for the inflammation that it causes, actually the medicine works against me, like my kidneys, my liver, my lungs is in really bad shape, and my vascular. It's really just torn my veins and everything up where I've lived. And it, oddly enough, people go along with it. And then if you try to tell it, people don't want to hear it. And let me say this, the media here knows it. They have since I came here. The media in Atlanta, the media in Huntsville, they knew about my kidnapping before I did in '83, and that's when I found out who my father is and my mother and who I am, my real name. But I want to focus on this, back to the Renee Williams. It was booted up to her, and I have this. I've had to go back to the three Section 8, that's all I can afford, that have deliberately joined a conspiracy. And I could tell the guy's name that works for law enforcement. I'm afraid my phone will go out again because it has the last two times I tried it. But I'm going to go ahead and try it. He was supposed to have been a wrestler, and he was supposed to have died out in California and been either killed by the drug cartel in Sacramento years ago. Terry Sawyer. And I've got to say this, it's weird because Philip, that I grew up thinking he was a half-brother, and I now know he's with the ATF, or retired. So he wasn't born into that family either. He was kidnapped just like I was and put there. And I know who I think his father was, but I'm not sure about that. O'Sullivan, the assistant FBI director, I think was his father. I don't communicate with Philip anymore because they have him. So now I forgot where I was going with that, naming. Oh, Philip, I did find out, which is weird, after I had moved up here, and Terry Sawyer, suddenly the wrestler, and he sure looked like him because my kids used to watch him, and I did too, wrestle back in '79. And he knew everything about wrestling, but he used to come up on the trail, and I thought he was befriending me. Well, it turns out he works for law enforcement. Let me see if this is going. He works for law enforcement. He had a drug enforcement laminated ID, and he also had the National Park Service out of D.C. Uniform Division. And I happen to know he works with a U.S. Marshal. So I thought he was my friend. He's the one that helped block where I'd try to go to rent. And also he's the one that took me to Edinburgh. He took me to Richfield. He took me to Joseph's Way. And this is where I got gassed and was sick in their HUD. So this is against the law, and it can be proven. This many people, if you get them before a court of law in perjury, they're not going to all of them perjure their stuff, because when one starts to tell the truth, the domino effect will happen, because then it proves itself. And Renee Williams, I want to read this that she sent me. It says she says, so now then I've had to go back to these same people, Edinburgh, Richfield, Joseph's Way, that gassed me, and I had to break the lease. I stayed as long as I could. It was killing me. So now then, I'm back asking these same people, hoping it won't happen again. I need a place to live. I'm 75 years old, and I can hardly get around. So, and I paid my rent. But here's what they booted it up to Renee Williams. It shouldn't have gone to her. But here's what it said. It's on, I've been putting this on YouTube and on Facebook, and because it didn't make no good to turn it over to